In this section, we're going to look at how to insert shapes into a PowerPoint presentation. Now what I'm going to do is just create a new slide. So I'm going to go for a slide layout that is blank, so there's no distractions. Then I click on where it says Insert, and over here within the Illustration section, you've got shapes. So I click on here, you've got all sorts of shapes. So if we look at this one here, you've got a rectangle. So the way it works, if I click on that and then move over here, can you see the mouse pointer has changed to a crosshair? So what I do is I click and hold the mouse button down, and as I drag, I get this rectangular shape like so. And when I let go, there's my shape. Now there are a couple of tricks you can use. Let's say you wanted a perfect square rather than the rectangle. I click on Insert, Shapes, and if we do what I just did before, I clicked on where it says rectangle, and you notice I can have it sort of squidged that way or that way, but I want a perfect square. So what you do is you go to Insert, Shape, and click on here again, but now you press the Shift key down and hold it down, and then when you click the mouse button and drag the mouse button, try as you may, you can't squidge it, you get a perfect square there. In the same way, if I go to Insert, Shapes, and if I select this object here, which is an oval, and if I click and just drag across, as you can see, you can squidge it that way or that way, but it's very difficult to make it a perfect circle. So if you want a perfect circle, I just deleted that, you go to Insert, Shapes, click on the oval option here, press down the Shift key and keep it held down, and now as you drag the mouse, again you can try and squidge it, but it won't squidge, it remains a perfect circle. So when you let go of the mouse button, then let go of the Shift key, that's a perfect circle for you. You can use that same sort of technique with lines. So if you go to Insert, Shapes, and use this one here, which is a line, as you can see, if I click here and drag, I can just move it any which way I want, and when I let go of the mouse button, it's like that. But let's say I wanted a perfectly horizontal line, I could try doing that manually. So I go Insert, Shapes, Line, and then I could drag around here, but that's kind of more or less right, but I'm not really sure if it's perfectly horizontal. So I'll delete that and do it again. I go to Insert, Shapes, click on Line, press the Shift key down and hold it down, and now as I drag, if I move up and down, you can see what happens. It doesn't move, it gives me a perfectly horizontal line, and if I move around a little bit, that gives me a perfect 45 degrees, and if I move around again, I get a perfect 90 degrees. So it jumps from horizontal, 0 degrees if you like, 45, 90. So that's a good little trick if you want it, perfectly horizontal or vertical lines, all lines at 45 degrees. So I'll delete that and look what else we've got. Insert, Shapes. Various other shapes here, so you've got like rectangles with rounded edges, so you can have something like that. I'll delete that and see what else we've got. So go to Insert, Shapes, and you got all sorts of things. You've got a little smiley face if you want to. And remember, if you want to keep it perfectly circular, press the Shift key down as you're dragging across, and there's a perfectly circular smiley face there. Incidentally, if you want to move this within the PowerPoint slide, then obviously you just click within it and drag it to one place. If you want to resize it, you just go to these handles and drag towards the center or away from the center to resize it. But notice, if you don't keep the Shift key pressed down when you do that, it can get squidged. So do remember that Shift key trick. I'll delete that and we'll try another one. Let's go to Insert, Shapes, and this time I'll just go for something straightforward like rounded rectangle here. It comes up in blue here, so you might think, well, how can you change the colors? Well, you've got various options up here. So let's say you wanted it in orange or grey or yellow or blue. Basically just move across there. If you click on a down arrow here, you can see there's a lot more options here. So you have like pattern effects or something like that or something like that. So we'll go for the green color, and that's how you make it green. You'll notice up here you've got various other things. So for instance, you can do shape fill. So if you click on the down arrow there, you can fill it with any color you want. Or if you want more fill colors, you can just drag this around here and you can mix the colors any which way you want. I'll let you play around with that. Similarly with the shape outline, you can have a different outline, so you could have maybe a blue outline, and you can hardly see it at the moment, so if you wanted a thicker outline, you just go to where it says weight and, you know, fiddle around with these. Maybe you wanted a 6-point weight for your outline. You've now got a blue outline on a green background. Looks a little bit horrible, but you kind of get the idea. And if you want to mess around with those, remember, you can always click on this, go and reformat them any which way. So remember, just click on the Format button under Drawing Tools. If you want to, you could actually put text directly on that. So you could have something like, or I don't know, I'll put my name in. I could have the words David Murray. And all I did to do that was just click within the shape. So let's delete this. Let's do another one from scratch just so you can see the process. So I go Insert, Shapes. We'll pick the same shape. We get a rounded edge shape like that. So there it is. If I want to put my name in there, I just click within it and start typing. Like so. Correct any typos as you go. I misspelled my own name there. Obviously, if you want to, you can format that so it's bigger or smaller or whatever. So remember, a good little trick to make text bigger is you press down the Control key and you press open square brackets key. And each time you press it, it makes it bigger. If you want it, sorry, close square brackets, that should have been. So you press down, let's do that again. I'll make it smaller. Right, to make it bigger, it's Control, then it's close square brackets. That makes it bigger. If you want it smaller, it's the Control key and open square brackets, like so. So I'll make this bigger by using open square brackets, something like that. Click outside it so you can see the effect, and there you go. So all the usual little tricks, if you know these tricks, they still apply, of course. If I just select the text here, do bear in mind you've got other things here. So for instance, you could have like a shadow effect here. So you could have something like that. That looks quite nice. So again, just play around with these and see what's there. So various effects there. You can have reflection effects like so. Yes. Glow effects. Some of these are a bit horrible, but some of them are okay. That one's okay. You can have a sort of bevel effect, look like that. Doesn't show up too well with this particular font. Or you can have rotation effects like so. So again, you just need to play around and see what's there, because there are so many options that you'd be watching videos all day long if I showed you every single one. But the thing is, you need to go in and play around with these and just sort of see what's there and think, well, can you use them in, you know, the way that you do this? You've got a transform here, so for instance, you could have something like this. Personally, I don't like this one, but you know, it's up to you. It looks a bit sort of 1980s somehow. But, you know, you can play around and, you know, end up with an effect like that, which is totally unreadable, but never mind. You get the idea. Incidentally, you can change the shapes from one to another. So let's say you've gone to the trouble of formatting this heart shape to be green and you're quite pleased with that colour. What you can do is you can click on the heart shape, and where it says Edit Shape, you can say, oh, let's change the shape to something else, maybe a smiley face. So there you go. You've got a smiley face instead of a heart shape. If you don't like that, again, you can think, okay, click on it, go to Edit Shape, go and change the shape, and we'll change it to a triangle. There we go. So as I say, very, very flexible and easily changed.